I am Daniel Hughes, and welcome to Book 101. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years, and today I have my special guest. She is the author of We Are Not Our Secrets, no other than Miss Joyce Smith.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you so much for that perfect introduction. It's so good to be here.
Yes, and welcome to Book 101, Miss Joyce. And can you please introduce yourself?
Yes. As he said, I'm Joyce Smith, the author of We Are Not Our Secrets. I am an indie author. This is my first book. It is an autobiography. I am also a singer songwriter, inventor. I'm a retired IT software developer and corporate accounting manager for a Fortune 500 company that was in California. I was there in California for about 25 years. And then I currently am in Memphis, Tennessee. I moved to the South, back to the South. My home is Arkansas. So this is closer to my family. It's good having family around upon retirement. And as mentioned already, I recently wrote We Are Not Our Secrets.
How does it feel that you publish your own biography?
Yes, a lot of people call it memoirs, but the difference between the two that I have read is that an autobiography covers your entire life. So that's why I decided to call mine an autobiography. Yes, and guess what? I feel wonderful, Daniel.
Yes, congratulations. So let's talk about your past experiences as belong to Fortune 500. According to the Fortune 500, 10% of their CEO are female.
You know, that number could be greater. That's the strides that we are seeking always to break those ceilings. So we've broken the ceilings and now we've got to get some more footing. We need to get more footing. And I feel that the more women are involved, the more diversity that will come in as well. So we need to diversify, but I'm glad that 10% is in. I actually happen to be not the CEO, but I was the corporate accounting manager. So I had an opportunity to work with in the corporate side of things with the 56,000 offices we had. So I got a good idea of how businesses run. And if you present yourself well, you have the knowledge and intelligence, we can continue to break those ceilings because we are an unstoppable force. Women can do whatever.
Yes, definitely. So, do you think your first goal to empower women all over the world?
Yes, yes, double yes. Many of us, not only women, but especially women, based on my book, We Are Not Our Secrets, brings out statistics of how we should really pay attention to the atrocities, really, that are happening to children when we're children. And this affects our lives.
Yes, very well said.
My book would definitely empower women. Uh, it empowers children because it's about childhood secrets and it's about women's secrets, men's secrets. So it empowers nations really because we all are under an umbrella of secrecy when it comes to adverse experiences in our lives. And that's why I say we are not our secrets.
We are not our secrets. How did you crafted it?
I crafted it based on the realities of my life. I was trying to understand why my father was the way that he was. He held me at gunpoint when I was 11 years old, and it had an effect on me. And I was confused over this. So I wrote to try and figure out the confusion. And also, as a child or as children or teens, as we're growing up, we may do things that we aren't proud of, right? So I wanted to figure out and make peace with some of those things in my life. And as I wrote, I questioned, like I said earlier, as a society, why do we hold on to childhood secrets that we could not prevent? And this seems to be the ones we hold on to the most and that influence us the most. We see that sometimes it ends up being people's demise, I think, by not talking about what happened in their childhood. I had several years of therapy and began to understand from therapy that many of the things that affect us happen in our childhood. And so I think that talking about this will be better for everybody, for generations.
Indeed, Miss Joyce. So, we are not our secrets. What behind the title of your biography?
Behind the title is um, things that we do, like we're always going through life through just making a series of steps without thinking about how it will affect others. Many of us never take the time out to like pause in life. And this is about taking those pauses in life, and it's about also forgiving ourselves and forgiving others and making peace with this life that all of us are living.
Yes. So, do you think that the trauma that you experience when you are young, did you already let it go?
You know, Daniel, I did not until I actually wrote the book. It stayed with me until 3 years ago. I worked on the book 3 years ago and I finally put it out. But until I did that, I had not let it go. And this is something I'm also advocating for. I found out that what I did was called narrative therapy. And in narrative therapy, you write for clarity and for understanding, and you write out your trauma or those things that are affecting you adversely, and you will oftentimes find the answers. And that's what happened to me, Daniel. I found those answers.
That'd be awesome. So, let's say your father is standing in front of you. What you gonna tell to him right now?
If I had my father standing in front of me, I would say to him that he did some really bad things to his family. And I know it was a result of what happened to him in his life as a child. And so he was doing what he saw, what he was taught or learned behavior, and also because of the things that happened to him in the war. I would ask him, I know that those things affected him. However, I would let him know that what he did to me as a child really affected me. And that I forgive him for those things because as an adult, I have sorted through, but it took me a long time to sort through those things. And I'm sure he would hate that I felt that way because people do the best they can. And I know that. And that's what
Yeah.
I would tell him. And give him a big hug.
Oh, let's be awesome. So, do you think that your father is willing to ask forgiveness to you too?
Yes, I think he would. I think he would have asked for forgiveness from me because there's a my brother. I have him in the book, and there's some incidents that I know based on that he would definitely ask for forgiveness and would say that. he was apologetic for those things.
So, for those trauma that you encounter, how did you cope up with those trauma?
It took a long time, Daniel. I had 10 years of therapy, and that therapy did not get me to where I needed to be by itself. Therapy usually works in conjunction with other things, and I'm finding more and more. I have a podcast, and I have Ellen S. Wright is a licensed marriage family therapist, and I got to talk with her in depth. I got to talk to college professors that dealt with trauma. I have spoken with people who are in social work and who are um licensed professionals in the field. And as a result of doing this work and talking with them, I find that I have sorted through a lot of the issues surrounding the trauma. And then there's also, I found the vagus nerve, which calms the body, and it's our built in stress mechanism for the stress response system, which relates to sound or rhythm and reward. And many of us, when we listen to music, when we meditate, when we do various types of activities, um, we could even write or sing or do drum beats or some type of instrumental things or yoga, any exercises. But these types of things calm you and they address your internal rhythm of your body and put you back into a state of calmness. And it really is something that people may want to practice, but it's a combination of things. There's no one way, one person, one organization, one thing that is meant for uh, each and every person. Is different. You know what I mean? It could be different for some, a combination of things. But for me, I really found my answers and released it. I called it cleansing by my book. That narrative therapy, I was told by Ellen S. Wright that a part of her trauma focused cognitive behavior therapy is narrative therapy. And when people do narrative therapy, they can heal themselves without the help of a therapist sometimes. So, narrative therapy, this writing for concise clarity, is very important. And I felt that freedom once I did that.
Well, very well said, Miss Joyce. So, right now, you are 100% totally free from the trauma.
No, no one gets 100% free from trauma because then you have your daily stressors in life. So I got a cleansing that catapulted my journey to healing greatly, that let me release that because trauma resides in the body. So I released it from my body, and now I can actually handle those things that happen to me better. But we all have stressors, Daniel, in life that comes up daily, and we have to deal with those. So how a person deals with them will be based on an individual basis, but it has and does stem back to our environments. So we are in a constant state of learning and growing for all of us. We grow and we learn and we deal with things as they come because we have the stressors from grief when we have deaths in families or adverse things like our health. We have to deal with those types of situations, you know. So we're always dealing with things that are adverse. But as far as healing, 100%, I feel that I 100% healed from my childhood traumas as far as emotionally, because that means that when something comes up, because it does, when it comes up, these memories, when they come up, they don't sting as hard. You know, it's minor in comparison to how it was at one time. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, Miss Joyce. But before we go on, I want to shout out to the people listening in Israel. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast, most especially in Tel Aviv. I have 36% audience share, Central District at 34%, Southern District at 16%, Haifa at 10%, and Jerusalem at 4%. Thank you for supporting this podcast because this podcast is created to empower writers all over the world like Miss Joyce Smith. So, Miss Joyce, we are not our secrets. What is the best highlight?
The best highlight is still my my overcoming uh the adverse conditions by the romantic involvements that I had. The highlight is me surviving uh, the turmoil from the childhood, and the highlight are my main characters, and which is my father and my brother. They are extremely important in the book because I think a lot of men react as they did, and I think people will really find them relatable.
Yes. So, how many days and month you wrote this book?
It took me a year and a half to write it, and it took 8 months uh, to edit it, and then I re-edited it, which was another 5 months, and I gave it to the editor and did all of their nuances to it, and then I did my final edit. Uh, so I would say it took me 2.5 years.
So, do you think those 2.5 years is polished enough to make this story phenomenal?
You know, Daniel, I left that to the editor, and my editor, the professional editor, I put it in their hands. And I told her, I said, what I want from you, because she asked me what did I need from her? And I said, I want to know if there's places in it that lag or that become uh, to a point that I could take out that I didn't need. And she finished the book and she had tears. She said, I've laughed, I've cried, and it was such humorous events at the same time. There were tears and so many great lessons. And I asked her, were any parts slowed or did I need to change them? And she said, I don't need to change a thing. She said it was just minor things that she had to change, punctuations and things like that. But she said I was a very strong writer. So I leaving her words because I'd rather someone else judge me. It's kind of hard. I'm kind of biased, Daniel.
so, what age do you realize that you're good in writing?
Here again, it was others. Since I middle school is when it started, and we would have to get in front of the class and do the summaries and book reports. And the teacher would always say to the students, do it like Joyce. That was one thing. And that continued through high school. I was called out with the valedictorian of our class in my English class. And she looked at me, and this transformed my life. This was an epiphany in my life, a life changing event for me because my father had always lowered my self esteem, unfortunately. And she said, as she called me out in front of the class with the valedictorian, she said, Joyce, and she named his name, I expect you guys to go and change the world. And I went, what? as a senior in high school, those are big, powerful words.
Definitely. So, do you think that your trauma in life when you are younger make it challenge you to be better in the school?
It was challenge. It was very much a challenge because you're dealing with. I was in survival mode, Daniel. So that actually inhibited my schooling, but I just happened to be bright. So I was able to do well in school. And I wasn't as concerned with school. I came from a big family. So if you brought home B's and C's, you were doing good. It wasn't that pressure that some people get put on them. And it also wasn't that uh, firm hand of saying, okay, you can do this, you can do better. It was, I made B's and C's by hardly doing anything, but I was an A student. I was always with the honor students. And there was one time that I decided that I was going to study because I didn't have to study, thankfully. But if I had studied, I would have done a lot better. But there was one time I went home and I studied because none of the smart students were getting it. So I went home, I studied, and I made a 98 on the test. I missed one answer. And the class, and these are class full of honor students, the closest one had a C minus, and they were upset because they only got 2 points, and the majority of the class flunked the test and everything. And I thought, oh well, I can do this. So I wondered what I would have done if I had had some more attention, some more encouragement, from parents that are saying and observant and telling me, oh, you can do better than B's and C's. Let's try to pull that up. Where do you need a little help in? You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely indeed. So, we are not our secrets. You are the main character of this biography.
Well, it's an autobiography to me because it goes from my life until current. So it starts off when I'm 3.5 all the way until I'm an adult. So I call it autobiography, but feel free because memoir is the thing that everybody's using today, and the difference between the two from what I'm reading are very different. There's controversy on that. There's Scribe, who is says that there's virtually no different. They both are one and the same. But your question was, I am the main character. Yes, I'm the main character. It is my life from beginning to end. And yes, I am the main character in the novel.
So, what are your characteristics that you want to explore to this autobiography?
Ooh, that's a great question, Daniel. I want to explore from birth, when you first have your first remembrance of life, through current. And when you start off in life, I want people to know that what occurs to you does not make you. And what happens to you, even if it may be adverse, that you conquer it anyway, that you find strength from things that you never thought that you could. And you take up on your shoulders the knowledge and the power from others. I had very, very good examples by my sister, my oldest sister, who was very tenacious. She was salutatorian or valedictorian of her high school, and she was very bright, and she set the way, and she overcame, and because we were all in the same household, so she led the way. And so looking at your people that are um, surrounding you gives you strength. She also wrote a book, see, so that encouraged me to write. And that was one thing, by observing others, meaning humility, in order to gain knowledge and power, I feel we need to have humility, and we retain what we can from those that touch our lives, that enter our lives. And let's not dismiss those great lessons that they give, but also know as we grow, we have great lessons for ourselves. Let's not negate how we feel. As the baby in the family, I have uh, five sisters. I'm the sixth girl and the youngest girl. And then I have four younger brothers, 13 siblings. And among that, you can get lost in the shuffle and you're used to being told what to do. So never lose your voice. I found that I found strength of I had lost my voice, and writing the book lets me know and wants me to help others find their voice. And that's what I want people to pick up, and that you can overcome anything that life dishes out as long as you don't give up.
Very well said, Miss Joyce. And according to Amazon, your book is categorized to self-help for abuse. You are at number 1757. How does it feel that you are categorized in that
What?
category?
Wow. I didn't know that I had moved up so far.
Yes,
Woo!
congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, you're just telling me some statistics I didn't know. I've been so busy talking on my podcast and promoting that I hadn't taken the time to look yet. So I so appreciate that information. And I forgot your question. I was so excited.
How does it feel that you belong to a self-help for abuse?
Oh, I feel great because when you go through things, you desperately want to help someone else. There are a lot of people all over the world, not just in the United States, not just in my family, but there are many people who deal with things that we dealt, I mean, who deals with things that I dealt with in different ways, of course, right? But
Yes.
and in their own environments, in their own ways. And there are a lot of type of things that are adverse, and so everybody has their own, but it is so good, it feels so good to be ranked high, and it feels so good to be able to help someone who went through what you have gone through. Me being an empath, a highly sensitive person, there's 20 to 30% of the population that's HSP, highly sensitive people that are empath, and we have so much empathy for others. We usually feel their pain. So for me, when I wrote this book, I wrote it with all I had. I emptied myself out. And for it to help somebody, Daniel, is just wonderful.
Yes, it's like you're floating in the air.
I am. I'm floating.
Yes, definitely. So let's talk about indie publishing. What do you think the pros and cons of being indie?
Pros and cons. The the I'll go with the pros. Pros are you're not limited to how many pages. They have a limit, but it's so high. I mean, and of course you want to stay as much as possible within the page count that they give you. But as an indie author, you don't have to. If you feel that your work has to have more pages or less pages, then you can do that. And that's one thing that I found that's a positive thing. However, I did stay within the framework of what an autobiography detailed. So that's good because you do want to stay within the realm of what works, right? You don't want to get outside, but you could if you wanted to, is what I'm saying, as an indie author. Whereas there the publishers are very strict on 100,000 words. They want that 100,000 words, and that's something that's different. The other thing is the pro is your time frame is your time frame. You can put it out when you get ready. And I was actually going to put it out at one time without getting a professional editor, and I thought, nope, Joyce, you need to get this professional editor. You must. And so I did that, but I could have put it out without even getting it edited. So this is something that would be probably make the industry's head pop off.
Yes, definitely.
So that's one thing. And the last thing as far as con, there's a lot of other pros too. But the other thing as con is, hey, it's new. You need this guidance, but you just have your research and you have to follow your gut. You ask as many people as you can, professionals, and you would like the leadership of a professional. You know that these publishers have done this before and they know the algorithms, they know what works, they have this down to a science, right? So I would love still to have their feedback, and hopefully I'll get some famous authors out there to read it one day and give me their feedback. So
Yes,
so
definitely.
that's the pros and that's the cons. The cons is that direction, and then promotion where I am now. um Moving along that line of promotion would be nice to have that guidance, but you learn and grow as you go with both. There's pros and cons.
Definitely. So, do you think in the future you will consider traditional publishing?
I think i would i think i would try it, if when I'm not going to say if, when this one is a success, I would try traditional publishing, because why not? Have always wanted to explore all genres, whatever's available, whatever's out there. I'm one of those people that in business use every avenue available. I'm the same way in life. Every avenue that's available, I would use. So I've tried indie, and then I would try standard publishing, and then I could really know the difference between the two.
And come back and then tell us what's the difference. Okay, Miss Joyce. Okay.
What's the difference? The difference, oh man, I think the difference would be, uh you would, if they pick you up, when they pick you up, you would know that you had something right off the top, right? You would know
Yes.
right off the top. Especially, can you imagine going with Penguin House or some big
Si-
publisher? Right
Simon and
off the bat, you
Schuster.
would go, I've got something. Whereas you have to wait on that indie. I have to wait until you just told me I'm at 17. What? 1700? Oh,
So,
I'm gonna dance around the room when I hang up.
yes, definitely. So, do you think that nowadays that there's a lot of indie authors, the quality or the product they are producing is getting less and less?
I think, like with everything else in life, you're gonna have those that are outstanding, that will mesmerize and will shock you at the brilliance that they are. And then you will have those that are in the middle, and then you will have those that their attention to detail um, may not be as great. I've seen a couple of books that I felt that weren't as great, but very few I've found that weren't of value. Very good indie authors out there. I mean, we have some very, very intriguing stories and great imaginations out there. So I love indie authors. I think they're great.
So, what is your inspiring advice to those people want to publish their own stories as indie publishing?
Go for it. Go for it. Don't let anything hold you back. Don't think that your story isn't worth telling. We all have a story. We all have magnificent stories. And make sure that you don't get discouraged. The hardest part for me was the editing. It took as long to edit as it did to write. And that I didn't know. So that's a tip I'm passing on, because you want to get it just right. And remember that your first writing is your draft. These are the things I learned as I gathered this information and through the experience.
Yes. So before we go on, Miss Joyce, I'm inviting you to listen to my other podcast, Food 101, our third season, with Chef Alessandro, one of the executive chef in one of the five-star hotel in downtown Toronto. So please do listen, Food 101. So Miss Joyce, we are not our secrets. What else you can say about it?
Pick it up, read it.
Yes, of course. Let's
and
support Miss
and
Joyce.
and I am JJ Concepts Inc. on social media, or Joyce Smith, but most of mine is JJ Concepts Inc. I have web a website. It will be under my social media. I also have a Yahoo account, WANOS23 at yahoo.com. And the other thing I have that everybody, if you really want to keep up with what's going on, I have a Facebook page, We Are Not Our Secrets. And I have a podcast there, and it has all the information that I just said. Where to purchase my book is on there too. And of course, I'm on Amazon, Barnes and Noble globally. And I appreciate the opportunity, Daniel.
You can promote your podcast here if you want to promote it.
Thank you. My podcast. And first of all, let me say this. I will definitely be listening to your podcast. I did hear several of your interviews already, and I thought they were wonderful. And I will be continuing to listen to your podcast. I think they're wonderful. Thank you for giving us authors an opportunity. My podcast is the same as my book title, We Are Not Our Secrets. It's adults who talk about their childhood experiences. Often they have never talked or spoken about those experiences. And that's the thing I want to get out. I want us to know, let's stop being our secrets. Let's stop holding on to those things that affect us so sometimes detrimentally. Let's get over them. Let's talk about them. Let's heal. Let's cleanse ourselves. And that's what we're doing, cleansing ourselves. And it's been a wonderful podcast, and I hope people will listen to it. It's on all platforms.
Yes, let's support Miss Joy Smith because the book We Are Not Our Secrets, I think this is phenomenal that open the gate of healing, right? Miss
Yes,
Joyce,
Daniel.
let's support her because if you support her, you will give the second, third, fourth books coming, right, Miss Joyce?
That's
More,
right, Daniel. I'll know that I need to write more.
yes, to empower women most especially.
Yes, empowerment. Empowerment of everyone, really, because everybody has adverse things that they go through. It's for all types of stressors in life and how to overcome them, from minor to large.
Yes. So once again, Miss Joyce, invite our listeners to buy your debut autobiography.
Yes, pick it up. We Are Not Our Secrets. Joyce Smith on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all platforms. It's on Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. I don't have the audio yet, but it will be coming. And I appreciate you so much for listening to me, and pick it up. We are not our secrets, because I do so want you not to be your secrets.
Yes, very well said. So if you give five adjectives of We Are Not Our Secrets, what are they?
Exhilarating, uh, powerful, extremely powerful, exhilarating, phenomenal. I'm biased, Daniel.
No, you're not. Soon to be phenomenal because we need to spread the good words.
That's right. Let's
Yes,
keep it going.
yes. We need to tell to the world that We are not our secrets anymore. We need to spread out.
Yes, and it has some romance in there, a lot of drama, and some tears and a lot of laughter.
Oh, yes. And most especially empowerment, as Miss Joyce saying.
It will empower you. I let's put it this way because you're the audience. Comment on all my platforms. Please give me reviews. Let me know what you think. I'm hoping and praying that what you find in your life, it will empower you and help you get through whatever, whether you pray or you meditate or you chant or whatever it is that you're into. May it bring you peace and joy and give you strength to make it through your life.
Yes. Thank you
Yes.
so much for your time, Miss Joyce. Okay, Miss Joyce, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it so much.
Moricon people, see you soon.
See you soon.